All right, buddy. Time to talk about it. The litter box. Oh, no, PU. Oh, man. All right, but we got to do it. Okay. So you take these, push them in. All right, you got to do them both at the same time. This lifts up. All right, try to spill, obviously, that litter back into there. I pop this down here. I use this to get the litter to the toilet. Oh, yo, it's longer than my index finger. Come on now. So I try to cover that stuff up in litter. Not that it matters. It'll go down the toilet in about a second. I start with this bigger, scooper. This is really just good for the poop on top. So the thing with this litter, which is called Sweet Scoop, is like when they pee, right, so I'll turn it to the side. Again, I'm just kind of filtering out the turds here. You don't want to dig deep because what happens with the Sweet Scoop is when they pee, it goes all the way to the bottom. And it turns into a big clump on the bottom. You can see it right there, right? This is about 2 days with, 2 cats. So you don't want that thing to like crumble and break up very much because then you just got a bunch of, little bits of piss all over the place and it makes the litter box stink and suck. So it's hard and it's like, there'll always be little crumbles, but you want to try to get as much into the scooper as possible and get it into this thing. I find like going straight at it, that was bad, but that happens all the time. Going straight at it, like you're like, I don't know, like you're scraping like wallpaper or some shit. So, right, try to grab them in chunks. And again, if they're big enough to filter back out, go ahead and do it. But don't worry about like tiny little things. They're always going to get in there. So anyway, do the pee. There's usually one on each end. So after I do that side, there was just one this time. And looks to be a couple more turds. Obviously, when you're doing this, you can pick them up with your hands and pop them right into your mouth. You don't need to put them in here first, but if you want to, take them into the living room and you could snack on them while you watch something. This thing gets dirty. I usually actually just scoop it through here and it like gets off anything that's still a bit wet. Right. A couple latecomers. Hey, I'm just a tiny little poop. Help me out. I'm sorry I'm late. It's okay, little poop. And then the thing to be careful of is that like this stuff locks in well, because otherwise it's insecure and Slippy falls right through it. So pull it away from the wall, right? This one's got like a little levery ledge thing. You fit it in there, and then you squeeze these little circles in. And it should pop into place. You should hear a snap. But even if you hear a snap, that doesn't mean it's like totally secure. So make sure, that thing is in good and that one's in good, and feel around back and that one's obvious. And then, we got to dispose of it. So like I said, this can all go in the toilet. But if you'd rather just put it in a plastic bag and take it out with you, that's fine as well. I'd say don't leave it in the big garbage, please, for like days. I usually put like this much in. I bet I could even flush this because there's no huge chunks. What I will do sometimes, if there's big hard chunks in there, you have to wait a while. But one thing you can do, use this bidet, make sure that it's set to nozzle clean, and then turn it on, right? And it'll fill this toilet up, right? It'll raise the water level, up to here so that everything's submerged. And then give it like 10 minutes. But like I said, this one seems pretty easy. Let's see if it clogs. Yeah, right down. I mean, if you do it in small batches, you won't have a problem. And if it does clog up, then you just, fill it with some water, wait for 15 minutes. That is it for Sweet Scoop. If the level gets low, fill it up, but I keep the level pretty high and I'll fill it up before I go, so I doubt you'll need that. Thanks, buddy. A little small point. If you, here's my little vacuum now. Right, it's in my little corner of the office. Feel free to use this if you want to clean up litter. There's also a broom in there, though you don't have to. A week's worth will not be very much. And like I said, if you would prefer to just throw it out, just grab one of these, regular plastic bags, tie it up and leave it by the door and take it with you when you go. Or even, if you put it in a plastic bag and tie it up, you could just leave it in the trash can then.